more nutritious meals, more veggies, but we want it tasty and easy too. Knorr cubes, that's the secret. Made with real ingredients like chicken, parsley, garlic, and enriched with iron, so your meals are better for you and more delicious too. That's the cocoa. Let's give it some accolades. Change your world by changing what's on your plate.
Great meals have a way of bringing out a different side of us. This is what happens when meals are seasoned with the mouth-watering original meaty flavor of Royco. We call it the Royco effect. Royco, for the original taste and aroma.
Looking for some dates? Get even fresher with Closeup. New Closeup Triple Fresh formula. It cleans deeply, fights 99% of bacteria, and cools intensely, keeping you protected and fresh. Still fresh, still protected. All that confidence to get close. New Closeup Triple Fresh formula.
Sunlight makes things easier, so you can do more. When you become more, you inspire others to be more too. Sunlight is here to support you as you reach for more success. Sunlight, more than you expect.
We don't like to eat better, more nutritious meals, more veggies, but we want it tasty and easy too. Knorr cubes, that's the secret. Made with real ingredients like chicken, parsley, garlic, and enriched with iron, so your meals are better for you and more delicious too. That's the cocoa. Let's give it some accolades. Change your world by changing what's on your plate.
Great meals have a way of bringing out a different side of us. This is what happens when meals are seasoned with the mouth-watering original meaty flavor of Royco. We call it the Royco effect. Royco, for the original taste and aroma.
Looking for some dates? Get even fresher with Closeup. New Closeup Triple Fresh formula. It cleans deeply, fights 99% of bacteria, and cools intensely, keeping you protected and fresh.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, may we stand up for the national anthem, please? please remain standing for the opening prayers. Baba, second row. Baba, pray for us. Microphone.
Almighty and everlasting God, we thank you for bringing us together to deliberate on the progress of our company, Unilever Nigeria PLC. We ask for your direct intervention in the affairs of this company, in the affairs of the directors, management, and staff. And we are praying that you, Lord, will not leave us alone. Please stand with us in all our endeavors to here today. Bless all the shareholders and all the problems facing shareholders now about not allowing us to be together to deliberate on our investment. Father, touch the mind of our regulators. Let them do what is right and what shall benefit we shareholders. In the name of our Redeemer, Jesus Christ. Thank you, Lord.
Distinguished shareholders, ladies and gentlemen, we will now take the safety briefings, please. The safety briefing. Mr. Gift Ejikeme.
Good morning, Your Majesty. Good morning, daddies and mommies. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am Gift Ejikeme. I'm the safety officer for the Civic Center. Mommies and daddy, I need a minute of your time, please. Please. Thank you. So you're currently on the second floor, banquet hall of the Civic Center. When you hear the alarm system, the emergency alarm system, all over the building, or I personally walking here to ask you to vacate the building, the hall, please. We have 5 exit points. 3 behind you, 1, 2, 3, and 2 before you, 1, 2. Please, make use of any of the exit points. And when you're leaving, please, do not panic. Do not rush. Do not push anyone. Do not push around the chairs, please. And when you exit the doors, we have the elevators and the staircase. Please avoid the elevator. In any emergency situation, please try to avoid the elevator because it might go off. Then use the staircase. And when you're descending the stairs, the rails are meant to maintain your balance. You can hold on to them to maintain your balance. And for those who cannot walk fast enough due to age or injury, you can assist them. My team and I will be here to coordinate the procedures of evacuation. Then when you leave the building, turn left. As soon as you turn left, that will lead you to the master point. That is the fire assembly point. Please wait there. Do not come back to the hall or to the building until you're asked to do so. My team and I will also be on hand to coordinate re-entry. Please, for those sitting by the walkway, please do not stretch your legs onto the walkway. And try as much as possible not to spill water or any liquid substance on the floor. And if you find any water or any liquid substance on the floor, please call my attention or any of the ushers so I will get them dried up. Please, when you're eating, please make sure there is a bottle, a cup of water beside you. Please. And if you have any health issue or any emergency, medical issue, anything, we have the medical team by the door behind you. Once you go through that door, you're right, the medical teams are there. Please, we do not have the toilet on the second floor. We have the toilet on the first floor and on the ground floor. Thank you and enjoy your day.
Thank you, Mr. Ejikeme. Distinguished shareholders, ladies and gentlemen, the time is 10 o'clock. It is my pleasure to welcome you to the 98th Annual General Meeting of our company. Coincidentally, this year is the centenary year of our great company. Accordingly, we will use the opportunity of this meeting to cut a cake in celebration of the anniversary at the end of the proceedings. I have received confirmation from our registrar, Greenwich Registrars and Data Solutions Limited, that we have a quorum required by Article 54 of the company's Articles of Association. The meeting, having been duly convened and properly constituted, I hereby declare it open. I wish to inform you that whilst this meeting is being held in person physically, it is also being streamed live to enable shareholders, regulators, observers, and other stakeholders who are not able to join physically to follow the proceedings. Furthermore, I wish to inform you that the safety and health measures have been put in place by our company for this meeting. Ladies and gentlemen, there are 9 items of business before you today. You will have the opportunity to move and second motions put to the meeting and vote on each motion. There will also be ample opportunity for questions and comments. Please ensure that you raise your hand and are called before you speak. Recording and manner of speaking. As we wish to have a full recording during this meeting, microphones connected to a tape recorder and amplifying equipment are in use so that everyone present should be able to hear. I would therefore request that those moving or seconding motions put to the meeting, making comments or asking questions, please step forward to the microphone and stand to the aisle closest to them and speak clearly into the microphone. I wish to appeal to each questioner to be brief with the comments and or questions, so as to give others a chance to also ask questions and make comments. I would like to inform all members that the Register of Directors Holdings is available for inspection during the meeting in compliance with Section 301, subsection 8 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020. Before moving to the formal aspect of this meeting, I would like to introduce very briefly members of the Board of Directors. I am Nnemeka Achebe, Obi of Onitsha. I'm a non-executive director and chairman of the board. I was appointed as chairman in July 2011. To my immediate left is Mr. Carl Cruz, who is the managing director of the company. He was appointed as the managing director in February 2020. Next to Mr. Cruz is Mrs. Folake Ogundikpe, who is an executive director appointed in April 2022. Next to Mrs. Ogundikpe is Mrs. Abidemi Ademola, an executive director. She was appointed to the board in March 2023. It is my pleasure to welcome Mrs. Ademola to our first annual general meeting as an executive director with the company. To my immediate right is Mrs. Afolashade Olowe. She's a senior legal counsel and company secretary. She was appointed as company secretary in March 2023. And it is my pleasure to welcome Mrs. Olowe to our first annual general meeting. Next to Mr. Olowe is Mr. Michael Ikpoki, an independent non-executive director. He was appointed to the board in February 2021. Unfortunately, Mrs. Abiola Alabi, a non-executive director, is stuck in Cairo, outside the country, and unable to get a flight back to join us here. But she will join us virtually, and her picture is there on the screen. She was appointed to the board in December 2015. Next to Mr. Alabi is Madam Amuna Lawan Ali, OON. Madam Amuna is an independent non-executive director. I was appointed to the board in December 2015. Mr. Jaime Aguilera is joining the meeting virtually, as he is currently not in the country. And his picture is on the board, or is on the screen. Mr. Aguilera is a non-executive director as well as the president of Unilever Africa. He was appointed to the board in January 2021. And next to him on the screen, before that, Mr. Mitu Simono, CON, is also joining the meeting virtually due to circumstances beyond his control. That's Mitu there on the screen. Mr. Simono is an independent director and was appointed to the board in December 2015. Mr. Chika Nwobi is also joining the AGM virtually, as he is currently out of the country on official business. His picture is on the screen there. Chika was appointed to the board in January 2019. The profiles of all the directors are contained in the company's annual reports. I would also like to introduce the representatives of our auditors, KPMG Professional Services, in the persons of Mr. Uzodinma Nwankwo and Mr. Sopluchukwu Nnaji. Our registrars, Greenwich Registrars and Data Solutions Limited, represented by Mrs. Obi Chiki Ijebulem and Mrs. Mary Adeleye. Nigerian Stock Exchange Regulation Limited, formerly the Nigerian Stock Exchange, represented by Mrs. Antonia Ame. The Securities and Exchange Commission is represented by Mr. Adewoyin Adeyemi. The Corporate Affairs Commission has informed us. Corporate Affairs Commission is also represented here physically, please. I would now introduce members of the Audit Committee. The shareholders' representatives on the Audit Committee are Mr. David Oguntoye, who is the chairman. Alhaji Wahab Ajani and Mr. Kolawole Drojaye. The board members who are also members of the Audit Committee are Ms. Abiola Alabi, who I apologized earlier on, is out of the country, and Mr. Chika Nwobi, who is also out of the country. Also in attendance physically or virtually are members of the Unilever leadership team and Unilever managers. Please stand up for recognition. Ladies and gentlemen, I will now call on the company secretary to read the notice of the meeting, which is on pages 7 to 9 of the annual report and financial statements.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Press the button.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, distinguished shareholders.
Can she sit down so she can use the other microphone? Do you allow her to sit down? Okay.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, distinguished shareholders. I hereby present to you the notice of annual general meeting of Unilever Nigeria PLC. Notice is hereby given that the 98th annual general meeting of Unilever Nigeria PLC will be held at the Grand Banquet Hall, Civic Center, Victoria Island, Lagos, on Thursday, 4th May 2023 at 10 a.m. for the following purposes. Ordinary business. 1. To lay before the members the report of the directors, the audited financial statements for the year ended 31st December 2022, together with the reports of the audit committee and the independent auditors thereon. 2. To declare a dividend. 3. To elect and re-elect directors to wit. 1. To elect Mrs. Abidemi Ademola, being a director elected since the last annual general meeting. 2. To re-elect the following directors retiring by rotation: Mr. Aimi Aguilera, Madam Amuna Lawan Ali, and Mr. Chika Nwobi. 4, to disclose the remuneration of managers of Unilever Nigeria PLC. 5, to authorize the directors to fix the remuneration of the independent auditors. 6, to elect members of the audit committee. Special business by special resolution. Item 7, to consider and if thought fit, to pass the following as special resolution. Amendment of Memorandum and Articles of Association. That Article 49 of the Memorandum and Articles of Association of the company be amended by the insertion of the following provision to replace the current provision. The company shall in each year hold a general meeting as its annual general meeting, in addition to any other general meeting in that year, and shall specify the meeting as such in the notice calling it, and not more than 15 months shall elapse before the date of one annual general meeting and that of the next. The annual general meeting shall be held in such manner, at such time, and place as the directors shall appoint, including virtually or by any electronic means. All general meetings other than annual general meetings shall be called extraordinary general meetings. That Article 51 of the Memorandum and Articles of Association of the company be amended by the insertion of the following provisions as first paragraph to replace the current provision. 21 days notice specifying the place, the day, and the hour of the meeting, and in case of special business, the general nature of such business shall be given to the members by notice sent by post, email, publication on the company's website, or any other electronic means otherwise served as hereinafter provided. Provided that a meeting of the company shall, notwithstanding that it is called by shorter notice than that specified in these articles, be deemed to have been duly carried if it is so agreed. That Article 67 of the Memorandum and Articles of Association of the company be amended by the insertion of the following provision to replace the current provision with respect to the format of the proxy, Unilever Nigeria PLC. That Article 123 of the Memorandum and Articles of Association of the company be amended by the insertion of the following provision to replace the current provision. A notice, which expression for the purposes of this presence shall be deemed to include and shall include any summons, notice, process, order, judgment, or any documents in relation to or in the winding up of the company may be given by the company to any member, either personally or by sending it by post, by cabling it to him or her at his registered address, by email, or by any other electronic means, provided that in the case of a member having a registered address outside of Nigeria, it shall be given by airmail and by cable to him at his registered address. Special business by ordinary resolution. Item 8, to consider and if thought fit, to pass the following as ordinary resolution. That the remuneration of the non-executive directors of Unilever Nigeria PLC for the year ending December 31st, 2023 be and is hereby fixed at 79,200,000 naira only. In directors' fees, In addition, sitting allowances will be paid at standard agreed rates for each meeting attended, and the chairman will be entitled to a vehicle allowance of 50 million gross per annum. Item 9, to consider and if thought fit, pass the following resolution as an ordinary resolution of the company. That pursuant to Rule 28 of the Rule Book of the Nigerian Exchange 2015, Issuers Rule, a general mandate be and is hereby given authorizing the company during the 2023 financial year and up to the date of the next annual general meeting to procure goods, services, and financing and enter into such incidental transactions necessary for the day-to-day operations from its related parties or interested parties on normal commercial terms consistent with the company's transfer pricing policy. All transactions falling under this category, which were earlier entered into in 2023 prior to the date of this meeting, are hereby ratified. With your kind permission, ladies and gentlemen, I will take the notes as read. By the order of the board, Afolashade Olowe, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Olowe. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, as it is a custom at our annual general meeting, I would like to give a brief overview of the company's activities before we transact the ordinary business of the day. My statement is on pages 12 to 14. We'll take it as read? Thank you very much. We'll make progress then. Thank you very much. In addition, the Managing Director has also presented his report to the members on pages 15 and 16 of the annual report and financial statement booklet. Do we take his statement as read also? We take it as read? Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Distinguished shareholders, ladies and gentlemen, Article 1 on the agenda is to lay before the members the reports of the directors, the audited financial statements for the year ended 31st December 2022, together with the reports of the auditors and the independent auditors thereon. As copies have been circulated to you in accordance with the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020 and the Company's Articles of Association, I hereby lay before this meeting the reports of the directors, the audited financial statements for the year ended 31st December 2022, and the reports of the Audit Committee and independent auditors thereon. I will now call on Mr. Uzodinma Nwankwo, a partner in the firm of KPMG Professional Services, the independent auditors, to read the independent auditors report, which is on pages 65 to 68 of the annual report and financial statements for the year ended 31st December 2022. Earlier circulated to members. Mr. Nwankwo, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, and good morning, distinguished shareholders and everyone present. It's my pleasure to present the independent auditor's report on the financial statements of Unilever Nigeria PLC. The report is on pages 65 to 68. And with the permission of the chairman, I'd like to propose to read the first paragraph, which is the opinion, and the last paragraph, which is on regulatory compliance and everything. Yes, and the permission of the shareholders, of course, and everything in between.
With the permission of the members, correct? Okay, is that approved? Fine, go ahead, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman and shareholders. To the shareholders of Unilever Nigeria PLC, our report on the audit of the financial statements. Our opinion: we have audited the financial statements of Unilever Nigeria PLC, the company, which comprise the statement of financial position as at 31 December 2022, the statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income, the statement of changes in equity, the statement of cash flows for the year then ended, and the notes comprising significant accounting policies and other explanatory information. In our opinion, the accompanying financial statements give a true and fair view of the financial position of the company as at 31 December 2022 and of its financial performance and its cash flows for the year then ended in accordance with IFRS standards as issued by the International Accounting Standards Board and in the manner required by the Companies and Allied Matters Act, CAMA 2020, and the Financial Reporting Council of Nigeria Act 2011. And then I'll move to the last paragraph, which is on page 68. It's a report on other legal and regulatory requirements. Compliance with the requirements of Schedule 5 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act, CAMA 2020. We have obtained all the information and explanations which, to the best of our knowledge and belief, were necessary for the purpose of our audit. In our opinion, proper books of account have been kept by the company so far as appears from my examination of those books. The company's statement of financial position and statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income are in agreement with the books of accounts. Signed by me, Uzodima Wankwo, on 31 March 2023 for KPMG Professional Services, Lagos, Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wankwo. I will now call on Mr. David Oguntoye, the chairman of the Audit Committee, to read the report of the Audit Committee to the members of Unilever Nigeria PLC, which is on page 63 of the annual report and financial statements. Mr. Oguntoye, please.
Mr. Chairman, sir, members of the board, management, regulatory authorities present, the press, and distinguished shareholders, I say good morning. The report of the Audit Committee to the members of Unilever Nigeria PLC can be found on page 63 of the financial report. In accordance with the provision of section 404, subsection 4 and 7 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020, the members of the Statutory Audit Committee of Unilever Nigeria PLC hereby report as follows. We have exercised our statutory functions under section 404, subsection 7 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020, and we acknowledge the cooperation of management and staff in the conduct of these responsibilities. We confirm that, 1, the accounting and reporting policies of the company are consistent with the legal requirements and ethical practices. 2, the internal audit programs are extensive and provide a satisfactory evaluation of the efficiency of the internal control systems. 3, we have considered the independent auditor's post-audit report in respect of year ended 31st December 2022 and management responses thereon, and are satisfied thereto. Members of the audit committees are kindly take a bow when I call your names. 1. My humble self, Mr. David Ogutoye, Chairman and Shareholders Representative. 2. Alhaji Wahab A. Ajani, Shareholders Representative. 3. Mr. Kolawole Durojaye, also a Shareholders Representative. Mrs. Abiola Alabi, who is unavoidably absent, Non-Executive Director. 5. Mr. Chika Nwobi, also unavoidably absent, a Non-Executive Director. Dated this day, 16th March 2023, signed by my humble self, Mr. David Ogutoye. Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Oguntoye. I shall be pleased to answer questions and take comments which you may have on the chairman's statement, the managing director's report, and the 2022 annual reports and financial statements before we proceed to the next item of business. In making your comments and or asking your questions on the report and financial statements, it will help to ensure that we give the right answers if you refer to the page of the report and the financial statements to which your comments and or questions relate. Members should please be brief in their comments and questions to afford opportunity to other shareholders to have their say. Each questioner should please give his or her full name over the microphone and state his or her question slowly, please. Shareholders who are following the proceedings online can also write their questions in the comments section of the online platform through which they are following the meeting. We will, as time permits, read out and answer some of those questions. Are there any comments and or questions, please? Where do we start? Let us start on the left here in Agbada. We'll come to you. We'll come to you. Come to you.
Mr. Chairman, sir, I would like to really establish a very profound.
Please, some silence, please, so we can hear our fellow shareholders speaking. Some silence, please, please.
This is
please some silence.
Mr. Chairman, sir, this is one meeting that I look forward to every year. And by the grace of God, God has been very kind to us to grant our wish. First, this is a royal meeting. And the chairman too had performed royally on the board. First, in trying to groom the men.
Please, can you state your name for everyone?
My name is Benga Idowu.
We know you, Benga, very well. It's formal that we do that. Go ahead, please.
My name is. So I mean, maybe because I was really excited, so I didn't want to say my name. There are many people on the board that are very dear, very, very dear. First, I want to put it on record. The order of the board has become member of the board. It's a very, very thing that delights our minds. It has so many implications. First, if you work diligently, the people will say the sky is the limit. No, the sky is the stepping stone, and we are seeing it. Your Majesty, I'm very delighted. In terms of recognition of artwork on the board, then men and women, cohesion to unity of the board, and no rancor is unparalleled. There are many more that we will see on the board. But talking in terms, when we come to a meeting like this, we want to look at our company, how our company have fared. But I'm only saying those people that baked the cake. That is the reason why I went that route. On page 8, we see the financial highlights of the company. It didn't come from the tree. When you look at the revenue last year and the revenue this year, it didn't come off tree. Men and women worked for it to bring it to bear. I want to congratulate the board, management, and staff of this company for this performance. Very excellent. We are very delighted. Now, looking at the company in itself, there are so many more things that you can afford. I look at the management of the company, your brand, on page 3, give us some inkling what is likely to be. When you say this is our brand, the list of the brand, the way you stated it, you should not have stated this in a matrix form. When you put it in a matrix form, you are giving us information. That is merchandise. That has to be what they're about. You begin to see so many things they miss out there. In terms of the combination of those brands, if it is just putting it as a list, I won't worry. But when you put it, it's a marketing thing. So you are not doing a marketing strategy on that page 3, your brands. When you connect it with page 138 to 151, you will know, you will understand what I'm talking about. So you have to go home and do your real job over there. Page 136 and 137, the photo gallery. I think first, I don't know whether the shareholders were in that gallery because you can actually decipher what the picture looked like much. I think that you put more light to it that we can actually see what they meant. But I advise that shareholders, your meeting like this should feature that the people will know that we are flesh and blood, that we invested in this company. They're talking on the last side. Per item 7, generally, when you are talking of a general special resolution, I think it's an issue on the front burner in this country. We should be very careful. When you want to do virtual meeting, there's something wrong with doing virtual meeting. But do we have the structure to do virtual meeting? The structures are not there. So when you want to disenfranchise a number of shareholders, and you are in the business of consumer, you cannot afford to do that. I think the board will have a rethink. Whether they have to step that item down, I don't know. If they really think about it very well. The timing is not now. It's a very good, innovative, but we don't have the infrastructure to support it. And it will be very wrong for us to take that kind of step Now, now in terms of the company itself, when I look at part of the conglomerate, what is our contribution to this? And then is our export component? Everybody is looking for foreign exchange. There's nothing wrong. But what do we contribute? Then how do we do it? I think I want to give other people opportunities. Thank you.
None. We'll go here and there and come back again. But we urge all contributors to be as brief as possible so many people can contribute. Thank you very much. Noni, go ahead.
Okay, it's on. The chairman, other members including the directors that are joining us virtually, very distinguished fellow shareholders. Since also here, I think it's also proper that we recognize them for helping in baking the cake. Except that they kidnapped one major state as far as this hall is concerned. Mr. Chairman.
A better microphone, please. Microphone, please.
Check. Chairman.
Check.
I prefer to. That's I thought. Thank you, Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I'm not sure there's anybody in this hall today who is over 100 years. And interestingly, those of us who are younger than the company have the opportunity of celebrating 100 years of Unilever in Nigeria. And I think that thank you for the applause, because I was going to ask that we give the company an applause, because ordinarily what we'll have done was to celebrate the birthday of Unilever at 100. But Mr. Chairman, I will come back to the issue of 100. And I will want to refer you to page 18 and 19 of this annual account. If you look at that page, unfortunately, one of the directors that is not here basically took charge. And I said, I hope he took charge with the permission of the chairman. Because if you are in doubt as to what my concerns are, Mr. Chairman, if you look at page 24 and 25, you see that the same director, as against taking 2 in the earlier pages, he took 3 in this instance. I just want to confirm that he has the authority to take charge of the numbers that he has taken charge of. But Mr. Chairman, if a company is celebrating 100 years, should the benefits that we get from that company be a reduction in dividend? Because I can't understand it. And I'll share with you why I am at difficulty in understanding why we should have a 50% reduction, 50% reduction in dividend, as against paying us 50 kobo last year. You'll be asking us to approve 25 kobo this year. Interestingly, this is a year in which our earnings went up to 78 kobo, as against the previous year of 59 kobo. So out of 59, you paid us 50 last year. Out of 78 this year, you are paying us 25. There's no relationship. Yes, I know for those of you on the board who did mathematics at university level, will tell me that it's inversely related. But if it's inversely related with dividends, how come other items are also not inversely related? And I'll share with you, Mr. Chairman. First, if you look at what we have here, interestingly, even the director's fee will be going up from 73.4 million to 79.2 million. Okay? If you look at the technical agreement fee, the same thing is happening. There's an increase. So why should shareholders be punished? Igwe, I know you are likely to give me an answer, but let me tell you what that answer will be, and I'll tell you what the counter will be after providing. You are likely to tell me that the foreign shareholders are majority shareholders, and they are also going to collect the same amount. True. But let me tell you the aspect that you will not be able to tell us, which is also in this annual account. Trademark, the foreign partners will be collecting 2.8 billion. So why will they be interested in 25 kobo? Management services, they will be collecting 156 million. Why will they be interested in money that can't buy any of your products? If you pay me 25 kobo, mention to me any of the items that will produce, not even Royco. 1 cube of Royco, I'm not sure I will get for 25 kobo. I am not sure. So why are you paying us 25 kobo? Is it you don't consider the well-being of your minority shareholders as well? I don't think this is fair with Igwe. And unfortunately, they are bringing you to the center of this. Because if you think otherwise, let me also share this with you. We have a situation on page 92 and 93. Workforce has gone up, and the pay has also gone up for some of them. So why will our own pay go down? What crime have we committed for bringing our hard-earned money to ask you to manage? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Even in the year under review, if you look at donation on page 43, one beneficiary got what he got last year. If they got what they got last year, 19.10 million, why should our own be different? Igwe, if not because the law does not allow us to increase, we'll have increased the fees here, what's called, even here. But if you have not allowed us to, you have not proposed to us an increase. One of the things I'll be asking, when we get to that, we are going to maintain last year's position. If you don't want to increase our own, you can't increase your own. You will not allow you to increase your own. We will not allow it. So we are going to stay on this level for directors and shareholders for 2023. Will be I'm doing a counter motion already. So when we get to the counter motion, what we are going to put is that we're going to pay what we paid last year, which is 73.4 million, not more. Mr. Chairman, let me also say, Mr. Chairman, let me also say on page 39. Hello? On page 30, you talk about development, which is important for me as a Nigerian. And why is it important? All of us certainly will grow older by the day. And it's also important that Nigerians who are employed in Unilever must also grow not only older in age, they must also grow older in position. And that is the joy I'm sure you heard when some shareholders talk about the former company secretary now being an executive director. I've been involved with Unilever from 1978. This is the first time I'm seeing a company secretary in Unilever transit from being a company secretary to becoming an executive director. However, we cannot put a final close of door to a Nigerian being the CEO of Unilever. That is the ultimate. That is the ultimate. But what Unilever and a number of multinationals have begun to do in Nigeria is to say Nigerians are not good enough for the office of the managing director. That is false. That is a big false. Unfortunately, the current MD will believe it. Also bring in another foreigner. Apologies for. I'm wondering, where do you then expect the young Nigerians, very many of them very intelligent and bright, why can't they one day become chief executive? The last time we had was Rufus Giwa. Even if he made a mistake, must the unknown persons who didn't know about Rufus Giwa, should they continue to pay for the crime or mistake of Rufus Giwa? No! Must the child pay for the sins of his father? No! So, Chairman, I didn't see anything indicating that even some are CEOs in smaller African countries. So, what is the benefit of me if I have all the talent, all the education, I want to remain with Unilever all my life? Because a number of Nigerians are becoming Japanese in Nigerian companies. They want to start and end in the company. But this is not the way to encourage them. And I'll be hoping to hear from what the management will be saying. Mr. Chairman, I know you'll be eager to have me end. I will plead with you. I will plead with you that you allow everybody who wants to speak, as long as they are not repeating anything that anybody have said. Because there will be knowledge, there will be information that will be coming from people who have taken time to read this annual account. Much more important, if you are celebrating 100 years, what we should not have is a big owambe. Huh? It's a big owambe. Chairman, if you even permit me, we have our father in Lagos today, here. We should have a Fathers Festival, true or false? I'm happy that the chairman is laughing. So, I will meet with you, relax, we'll enjoy ourselves. But, Mr. Chairman, there is a major error in what has been done today. And I want to point out that what we're celebrating really is not just Owambe and Ofala. Because we have a 2-in-1 celebration. This year marks 50 years that Unilever was listed on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. 50 years. 50. In countries in Africa, they will have been classified as senior citizens. Okay? So if you have double celebration, why will you drop our dividend from 50 kobo to 25 kobo? What problem? It's unfair. Very, very unfair. Very unfair. But Mr. Chairman, let me push it further. For a 50-year-old man in Unilever, any man who has spent 50 years, which means we allow him to come in at the age of 1 to be employed, he certainly will be a very senior manager. And what that means is that he will know the trick and the game, the rules of the game. We didn't realize that having been listed on the exchange for 50 years, nowhere in this account do we have history of what dividend we have paid in the past, even 20 years. I don't think it is. You are not being fair on yourself as a company. You are not being fair. Because what does that help people do? If you have the share price and you have the dividends that you have paid in the last 20 years, just additional column to the share history, people will be able to calculate the returns. That I don't think you have also passed in that regard. But Mr. Chairman, let me also tell you another challenge. If you look at page 91 and 92 of this annual account, the highest paid director, 198 million. 198 million. And if I ask why, again, the answer that you are going to give is that the foreign exchange has gone against the naira. But I'm asking myself, if the CEO who sits in Nigeria collects 198 million, yet the lowest paid staff earns at best 1.75 million. Even in Netherlands, people will carry submachine gun and begin to make trouble for you. Because the disparity between the highest and the lowest will not be in this magnitude in the whole country. But Mr. Chairman, I will share a joke with you. And unfortunately, it's a live joke. In Uganda, the Minister for Labor was killed by his own bodyguard. From all indication, the bodyguard complaint was his oga was chopping everything and he didn't have any to chop. Don't joke with those drivers that you have and you pay them peanuts. Be careful. Be careful. Even the security men that you have, be careful. Mr. Chairman, let me also say that if we pay, Chairman, if we pay management fee, and interestingly, management fee in this year's account is 156 million. I don't think this is also correct. Again, apologies to the auditors. You know why? Because if you look at this account, I already mentioned, the CEO is part of the management services that Unilever Overseas is providing for us. They are paying the CEO separate. So management fee cannot be 156. Because ordinarily what I would expect that if we are paying management fee, the home country should pay the CEO's salary and not put a burden on us. But what they do is they push all the costs on us. All they want is take all the profit. Abba, I don't think it is right. It's not right. I also want to say that on a closing note, Mr. Chairman, on page 123, 128, and on page 3, you talked about change in business model. So I will be hoping that if you look at our brands, what we have on page 3, you tell us, take time, somebody should tell us, which of these brands are we discontinuing? Because some of us have followed the media. Even the media is confused as to what you are not going to be producing anymore. But let me share this with you as well. Each time you leave a major product and other people come into that segment of the product, you will never be able to come back. You will never, if you drop Royco today and you come back in another 5 years, you are going to sweat through your nose. We are going to sweat through our nose and anus for us to be able to get the control of the market. So I need to also understand that so that I can also understand what my investment is looking like. Mr. Chairman, I want to support the first speaker on the issue of virtual. And I want to plead with all of us who are here, because we are going to tomorrow that Unilever only invites 4 people to come for their AGM. When it comes to that component, let me see how many of us are going to vote that Unilever should take his AGM to a kitchen with only 5 people in attendance, and all of you will be spending money to phone in, and very many times you'll never be able to call in. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for the opportunity to speak.
Thank you, Mr. Awu, for covering several grounds. And I would like to urge other speakers to be mindful of the points already made by Mr. Awu, so we can cover other grounds. Chief,
Sir. The chairman, my reverend traditional ruler from the southeast of Nigeria, the rising sun, Igwe Achebe Abogidiwa. May you reign forever.
not forever.
Our directors of our company,
Your name,
fellow distinguished shareholder, good morning.
Your name for
My
record.
name is Okezie Boniface.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, I want to say today what we have been reading on the pages of newspapers as regard our product you are phasing out. And my question is this: which of the products are we now going to curtail remaining in our kitty that's going to drive our business? Which one are we dropping? Is it from the detergent we are dropping out, Sunlight, Omo, what have you? Then you go to tablet, the locks, and what have you? The Vaseline, which is the cream. Which are the ones are we dropping out from our production line? Because that means we're not going to baby soap or whatever, or detergent. Are we running away because of the substandard that are flooding over the country and we cannot match by producing locally? So that we know what is Unilever going to stand for and which product are we rolling out to replace those when we are fishing out. Mr. Chairman, because in my native land where I come from, our mother those days used to have the bunch of palm fruit. When you remove the fruits, the remnant, they will burn it into ashes and make soap to wash cloth, and they will foaming very well. We also take and make soap to bath. And if you have put research in place, and Britain, who have colonized us, are still colonizing us, and we're still paying technical fees to them, can't we manufacture on our own here, since we have the machines, the detergent, the soap that can compete with foreign importations that flood into the country? Can't we compete with them? Because today I go to supermarket and I buy Omo. It's the highest cost of the amount detergent you can see in the shop is Omo. And that's why people are running away from it. They go and buy the one that can affordable, which can also clean their cloth and give them what they're looking for. In those days, if Omo is higher at the price in the open market or the shop, people will not patronize them. And we were saying that Omo is not selling. We are the cause of it. Why it's not selling? Because the price is high. And are we importing Omo detergent, Omo brand? Are we importing it? Are we manufacturing it here? And if we're manufacturing it here, why is it costlier than the imported ones that we're seeing in the market today? Mr. Chairman, the turnover, we're even happy on PC that turnover increase. We have 88.5 billion as against 70. And that means people are patronizing our product. It's good. And we're saying we're fishing out. What and what did we sell that increased our price this year? That increased our turnover? And if there's a business looking onto us, where are we fishing out? Where are we dropping? Because if there's no sale, the increase in turnover wouldn't have resulted here, Mr. Chairman. So is it because our market strategy is not working that our brand, which is popular, is not selling? So I believe, Mr. Chairman, our royalty we are paying to foreign technical partners is not justifiable if they cannot give us a clue to manufacture here to be able to compete with other one coming from Asian country. We're in trouble, Mr. Chairman. I believe that government are giving us avenue to look inward, made in Nigeria, goods. We should be able to exploit it and push away other ones coming here. If our price can come down, then we'll be in business. Mr. Chairman, before we leave this hall, either the MD will respond and tell us which product are we going with, so that we can know that Unilever is still in business, or are we trying to wind up our operation in Nigeria? We want to know, because that report is not palatable. What's coming out from Unilever, that they are dumping all their prices, their product, feeding them out, is not good for Nigeria. It's not a cheering news. You must reassure us today that Unilever haven't stayed for 100 years. We want to still remain here in Nigeria. We are the biggest market in West Africa, called Nigeria. Mr. Chairman, we shouldn't allow Britain to pocket us. If what they are giving to us and they want to take it away, we should develop internally our own product to match our own climate. That's the way to go. That's the way to go, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I can say, Mr. Chairman, sir, on page 90, Mr. Chairman, the cost of business from 88 billion we made as against 70. Last year we spent 69.4 billion operational expenses by nature, and this year under review 81.14 billion, 81 billion 149 million. Mr. Chairman, we need to watch. It's on the high side. Even though yes, our earnings grow high, like the second speaker highlighted. We also will pay out 25 kobo dividend. Mr. Chairman, if we apply back to the 8 kobo into the system, having known that Unilever almost pay out all their earnings to shareholder, if you have paid out 50 kobo, you would accommodate everybody and apply back 28 kobo. That's the way to go, to make sure that we celebrate the anniversary. I think to celebrate high earning will turn out this year, Mr. Chairman. And I hope going forward that the chairman and the board will look at this and compensate out this year, God willing, and God keeping us alive. I know the business will arrive. I want to commend this board for taking one of our own who is related to shareholder as executive position. And I know the board would not rely on its oars to make sure that other Nigerians come up in that executive position. Whether MD or not, I believe by the time Cruz Carl leaves as tenure, maybe Nigerian will take over from him. It's our prayer, but this is a gradual process. We can't stampede the board to do it otherwise. But I know the board will have, by the able chairman, our royal father who's piloting this affair, will not allow the foreigner to pocket us, because the chairman is towering and representing Nigerian interests. So nobody can pocket Igwe Chepe or Pure Furniture. So you're representing us there. We believe your judgment, the right thing will do at the right time. So, Mr. Chairman, I don't want to overflow the issue, but in our dividend, in our donations on page 45, Mr. Chairman, I appeal to this company to look other areas. In the southeast where I come from, I don't think this donation has reached our people there. You say secondary school scholarship, which of the schools are beneficiaries. We should know, we should spread these things, because it's not one particular area are making use of our product. Our products are being spread for north, east, south, and west. Mr. Chairman, reflection, the donation should reflect geographical zones. That's what I believe. What is good for the goods is good for the gender. Mr. Chairman, we should look at it, that it must merry go round, so that everybody will benefit from it. Mr. Chairman, last, it can see today, Mr. Chairman, that the decision we took years back to fish out our product in Aba is not helping us. We need to go back there to establish our factory once more. Otherwise, we regret in time to come. That's the word advice I'm giving today. If we don't go back to the east to start doing business, we regret in no distant time. We will regret our action, our inaction. This is time to go back, to have a plant back in Aba, so that we can continue to do business in Southeast. We more or less as a nation, we should not abandon, Mr. Chairman. That's very important. It's a key for us to do business Southeast and South, to get back our business. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Let's have a woman speak.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, Board of Directors, regulatory authorities here present, my co-shareholders, good morning. My name is Mrs. B.C. Bakari. I am the National Coordinator of Pragmatic Shareholders Association of Nigeria. First and foremost, I want to congratulate our company for another successful year. This will take me to page 6 of the annual report and accounts. Of course, we are celebrating 100 years, like the earlier speakers have earlier said. This is very good. And looking at this page 6 too, everything is looking good on this page, except the issue of our dividend. On that note, I will go straight to, okay, still on page 6. Of course, the result is very good. It's an excellent result. From revenue to earnings per share, they are all positive. This is very good. Congratulations. But I want this board to do something about our dividend policy in Unilever. This is very important. I think when we have dividend policy in place, this type of issue will not come up. So I want this board to look at our dividend policy. Secondly, on this, I want to ask that how do we intend to sustain the remarkable growth we had this year? We would like to know. Having said this, I will go straight to page 69 of our report. Page 69. Okay, page 69. That is under statement of profits or loss and other comprehensive income. Our impairment loss, we have impairment loss in trade and other receivables amounted to 441.3 million. Mr. Chairman, I don't know why we are having such impairment loss in Unilever. I don't know why. Because considering the type of business we do in our company, some of us here, anytime we want to buy your product, we go with our cash. So I don't know where this impairment loss is coming from. And secondly, our impairment loss for 2021 was 829.6 million. This year we have another 441.3 million. This is our money. This the money we are having as impairment loss is part of what could have been added to our dividend. Please, I want the management to do something about this, to buckle up the our debt recovery. Please, we don't want to see this in future. Having said that, I will go straight to page 71, and that is going to be my last comment, because I don't want to repeat what other direct and shareholders have earlier mentioned. That is under statement of financial position. Still on trade and other receivables. We are having another fresh 21.2 billion as our trade and other receivables. Does that mean deliberately we just want to be throwing away our money? From 14.9 billion last year, this has moved to 21.2 billion this year. In another 2 years now, you will tell us you want to write off almost $500 million. I want the management to look at this. Thank you once again for the opportunity given to me. God bless you all.
We'll take only 2 more comments. The gentleman standing up there. 2 more comments only. The gentleman there. No. The one at the back, behind you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Henry Folami Gafar. So, Baba, they will come to you, sir. Thank you. So, I want to congratulate the board and management, including all of us, for 100 years of caring for the Nigerian families and making sustainable living commonplace for all. So, secondly, on page 4, in telling the history of the company, I'm of the opinion that we should chronicle the leadership from inception to date. That he let us know the MD, the chairman, like that, from inception. So you can just create maybe a page or 2 for that, so that we can know the history of our company, to enable us remember our past while being future fit. Then page 10. Okay, that's why I've been overtaken by another event. I was trying to ask about Annapurna, but I discovered that it's been made in Nigeria. Page 2. Our purpose is to make sustainable living commonplace. My question is, how do we ensure that our brands compete favorably in the marketplace in terms of product quality and affordable pricing? Then secondly, under that, what ways are we making sustainable living commonplace? Can we identify 5 of such ways? Number 4, business result and performance. So I commend the management on the revenue improvement and improvement in gross profit. So my question there is, what brought about no problem. Was there any special event that made our profit to jump from that of last year? Was there any special event during the year that made our profit to jump and improve so much like this? Thank you. So my next point, Baba, hold on, sir. Hold on, Baba. Under page 15, MD's report, I want an explanation on guide rail parameters. Guide rail parameters deployed as part of operational discipline and governance. That's under MD's report. Then on page 17, what are the various cost optimization initiatives that we have put in place? And how do we manage forest volatility? Forest rate volatility, how do we manage it based on our business? Then page 16, I want an explanation on the company's equity, diversity, and inclusion strategy. That's on page 16. Then I also want to commend the board on localization of our localization of efforts, that we have reduced the extent of our imports and we use more of local raw materials. So I commend you for that. Then I also observed that in the annual report, there is no external consultant report for board evaluation as required by SEC code and FRC code, that is Nigerian Corporate Governance Code. Nothing of such. Then my other observation is that it seems we are gradually engaging many of our products. What plans are we having to expand to other products or alternative products that the market will also use? Then what's our expansion plan in the next 5 years? Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you, please. We'll take, please listen to me. We'll take one final comment from Chief Sonny Nwosu, who is here. Sonny is a doyen. He's a doyen of the Shareholders Association, and he turned 70 not long ago. And only this morning, I have to apologize, I became aware that he's been unwell, and you could see he'll speak to us sitting down. And on behalf of all of us, board, management, and our distinguished shareholders, we wish him very well and continue to pray for his recovery. Sonny, go ahead, please.
Okay, sir. With every respect to the Agbogidi of our nation, I will try as much as possible not to repeat what others have said, but for emphasis sake, I'll make it very clear. One of the shareholders talked about the hybrid AGM, which include virtual and physical. We condemn the issue of virtual 101%. The reason is the few that we have gone through never worked because of network. The network did not allow it to work, and therefore it's only chairmen who are afraid of shareholders who cannot answer questions that we insist on virtual. And I believe Unilever is well grounded and can answer any question. So we welcome you. Part of my observation, Mr. Chairman, is the 100-year celebration, and I think along the line we have made mistake of not investing on agriculture, which is very important for the production of soap. If you get to the market today, you see all manner of soap, liquid, powdered ones, and all this and that. And I think this is a big challenge to us. So I want to find out what different thing are we doing to circumvent the challenge of all these local made soaps. So it's very important. I have seen soaps in liquid in different kind of size of jerry can. So, and these are one of the things that is actually impeding our own progress in that area. Everybody that wants a powder soap will say we want Omo or soft, but I don't know why these two products are not penetrating the market as much as the old people believes in it. Mr. Chairman, 100 years is no joke. This 100 years, we have had the cry of shareholders, but we can also make do by giving us a special dividend for the 100 years, special dividend or special bonus to celebrate our 100 years. It's really not easy attaining 100 years. In the shareholders group, the only person that is near 100 years is Pashopeju, who will be celebrating 90 in August. So he's the only one who can challenge Unilever in 100 years journey. But I think Unilever is still stronger than Pashopeju. Mr. Chairman, we need to do something about this. We have to go backward integration. We cannot continue to buy palm oil from other sources when we have the opportunity. At the time of Unilever, land was very, very available for us to go into agriculture. And I think we should have done that and source our raw materials internally for this. The very important thing again is what they call the jackpass, those who are living
for greener pasture overseas? How are we managing to sustain the workforce? And if you look around the country today, you see a lot of people left Unilever to go and help to establish other companies. What is the reason? Why are they leaving? We need to look into this and ensure that the workforce in Unilever is not distorted to the extent that we find it difficult running the place as it should be profitable. Now, for emphasis, I want to also thank you for giving one of us the executive position, because it's not in the character of Unilever to do that. But once they have done that, I'm sure the hand of the MD is there and other directors. So we want to thank you, and please extend our appreciation to Unilever for doing that. This is why I believe that even the MD is an African, despite that he's from Philippines, and Philippine culture is very close to African culture, and he will always support things that has to do with the progress of Africans. So, Mr. Chairman, I also agree with my colleagues that said the dividend wasn't good enough. That's why I am asking that we should make a special dividend for the shareholders to celebrate 100 years of Unilever in Nigeria. On that note, Agbogide, I also want to thank you for commending my 70th birthday. Although you called me on the phone, I was surprised. Somebody at 70, somebody called me and said, "Birthday boy." And I looked at it, turned out to be you. Thank you very much for that royal greeting. You know. On that note, I think Ofala in Lagos will not be the same thing with giving us special bonus or special dividend. Because even Nona will not want to come to Onitsha for the Ofala. He will prefer to have his money here. And
Nona has been threatening to come to Onitsha. I'm waiting for him to come.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So, Mr. Chairman, we thank you for giving us an open AGM. Please don't subscribe to virtual AGM because it will not give you happiness like you are getting from shareholders. And finally, I want to beg my colleagues, we should try to reduce the rascality at AGM, and that is what they are using against us. We need to do something, especially the noise making, because when you are making noise, you will not hear the contributions at the AGM. In fact, when they brought again virtual, we had to inquire, and they said the behavior of shareholders have not changed. Please, let us put in decorum at every AGM, excuse me, so that So once again, I want to appeal to my colleagues here that there is need for us to apply decorum, everything that we are doing. We have regulators here who are watching us. So if there is no gift at the AGM, your contribution will matter to the board, and we will have a very nice AGM. At the end of the day, we are asking them that our dividend be paid promptly, and they should consider special dividend. Then when we are making noise and rowdiness, they will report that the meeting was not quiet, that it was rowdy, and most of the proposition they have moved, they will query it. So I appeal to every one of us. Let us fight the regulators with open mind without having anything for them to use against us. So thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Shall we make progress, please? Progress. Thank you. I want to thank all those who make comments and ask questions, and I want to apologize to those who didn't have the opportunity. But you know, all of us want to say something. If you have other comments, you can go to the website and leave them, or you can write them down and give to us. We'll do our best to take them into consideration. I would respond to a few of the points that have been made.
and then ask the MD to respond to some others, and then we can move on. First of all, I'd like to thank Noni Awo particularly for some of the salient points he made. On the matter of dividends, I can assure you that your board and management, considered all factors before coming to the decision we made. We looked at the future of the business, we looked at the current situation, and our own strategy to move the business to the next level. And please don't forget that dividend the business is a continuous process, and rewards also continuous. And sometimes we have to tighten our belt for the meantime so as to have a bigger future. What we are looking at is a sustainable growth for the company. And if our strategy works, then I think that we can look back on this 25% and say, we can now see why it was 25% this year. The coincidence with the centenary, we also took that into consideration. We had other plans for the centenary, but again, looking at the way the circumstances we're in this country at this point, plus some of the actions that we've taken, we decided to observe it in quiet dignity. There'll be opportunities in the future to celebrate. We pray, and that will come sooner than later to celebrate. Centenary is not an easy thing to achieve, and to be in continuous operation and continuous production for 100 years, even anywhere in other countries, is not easy. So it is worth marking, it is worth noting. But then, if we're having a Ofala in Lagos at this time to celebrate the centenary, people will be asking us if you don't know how things are in the country otherwise. So trust me, and please, the company, the management have the best intention of the shareholders. I promise you that. The question of the leadership of the company. As many of you would know, my own personal career started off in human development, human capacity development, and I managed the HR function in Shell, and my title included Nigerianization officer, etc. So we've made several efforts to groom our Nigerians to come to the leadership of this company. But I have to say, as we also experienced in Shell for many years, we have been the victim of our own excellence in bringing people up. Because even on my time on the board, we've lost several very high quality people because others poached them, okay? And we're doing our best. We've reviewed the strategy, and I led the MD and other people on a short meeting. So we've got now a multi-pronged approach so that if you lose one person, we don't lose everybody. So we're working very hard on that. It's a desirable step to take. It's a desirable step to take. And there are Nigerians all over the world leading very well. So we have a positive attitude on that. On the centenary, I spoke about the circumstance we are currently in. Without going into too much details, which we don't have time for here, we compare the reward system Unilever with other companies. And I can assure you that even the directors compared to other companies, even our MD compared to other companies, we are not even in the top quartile and so on. You referred to the director's reward, which, if you look at, has been stagnant for a few years. So The movement this year shouldn't be seen in the same context as 25%. And one of the speakers said, we should have given a history, or I think it was you, of the dividend payouts, of course. And if you did that, then we can compare our performance and the dividend. And I think if we did that, Unilever will not be in a bad shape. But again, like I said, we've reviewed our business strategy, and the MD will speak about that, that will put us in a stronger position going forward. Stronger and sustainable position going forward. Other issues that I want to touch upon, Jackpass, which Chief Sonny raised, one of our problems, but we're not alone. Other companies are suffering the same thing, and I'm chairman of another company where we have the same challenge and so on. We're doing our best to address that. We have several of our young men and women out of the country working with other Unilever companies. That's one of the solutions, so they can come back at a senior position. But it's a challenge that we have in the country, and hopefully new leadership in the country will create an environment that will have a return of our people, because those who have gone abroad actually prefer to be in Nigeria if the conditions are right. So we pray for that. On that note, I'll give the microphone to the Chief Executive to address one of the issues that we've raised, and we can go on to the resolutions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First of all, thank you so much for our distinguished shareholders for the questions, the challenges, and the comments and the recommendations that you all have put forward today. So allow me to take a couple of minutes to respond to most, if not all, of the concerns, and then some of the other concerns that I will not be able to respond to, I will pass it on to my colleagues in the board. So number one, from 2020, we have localized our input raw materials to the level possible in the local environment. To the effect, this has resulted to a reduction of our hard forex currency requirement by as much as 60%. Yep, so that is of absolute importance. The amount of foreign exchange that we now need to run the business here in Nigeria is down by 60% compared to 3 years ago. Number two, there was a lot of question about the repositioning of our portfolio. And distinguished shareholder right in front of me is absolutely correct. So we are going to exit the market in terms of selling Sunlight, Omo, and Lux within the year. And the main reason behind this is simply we need to strengthen our business model for us to remain in the country for the next 100 years. If we do not do this, and you would have seen in the annual report, the profitability being generated by these three brands is much lower than the current portfolio that will remain. If this is not done, the drag or the impact on the P&L that's going to remain will be quite substantial. So I hope that makes it very clear. It is meant for us to be stronger so that our position in the market will be more competitive. Number three, all of our products that are in the concern are locally produced. Number four, I think the gentleman in the fourth row asked a question about how will our brands sustain its momentum. The number one strategy that we have put in place since 2020 is to make our best brands truly affordable to the Nigerian consumer. If we cannot make it affordable, we will not be competitive. And hence, you would have seen the results starting quarter 4 of 2022, which is now extending into 2023, because we're able to control our cost base. We're able to price our products properly, which is well within reach of the consumers in Nigeria. You also asked about guardrail parameters. Since 2020, we had made sure that the fundamentals of running a business such as Unilever is always in the proper place. Our level of trade debt, overdue, value at risk, stocks at the KDs are all below guardrail. I'll give one example. In 2020, stocks at our KD point reached almost 9 weeks. 9 weeks, over 2 months. Today, as we speak, your company is operating at a level of 2.5 weeks inventory at KD level, including goods in transit. So that gives a lot of operational rigor and stock turns to make our partners, our KDs, more profitable and our products more competitive. That is an example of an operational guardrail. We duly note the comment on not holding a virtual AGM. That is duly noted, and of course that will be taken into consideration. Expansion plan. As I have said a while back, the intent is to be here for the next 100 years. And for us to be here in the next 100 years, we need to increase the relevance of Unilever and our brands in the Nigerian consumer. And for us to do this, one, we have to offer the best brands at the right quality, which is acceptable to the consumer at the right price. That is important. Number two, we will then take a look at our portfolio outside of Nigeria, which we feel through consumer research and engagement will be relevant to introduce to the market. Now, when we introduce something to the market, it has to be locally produced. We cannot rely on importation because, as you very well know, everyone in the country and in the industry is faced with challenges related to foreign exchange. So anything that we introduce needs to be locally produced, or input materials needs to be majority local. There was I think from the gentleman in front, in terms of agriculture, we have worked with key players in the agriculture industry to localize and shift a number of our key raw materials. A case in point would be the use of sorbitol, byproduct coming from cassava, for oral care. And we are working with a truly Nigerian organization to be able to do this so that we can increase again our relevance in the Nigerian market. There was a question on EDI, diversity, inclusion. The intent of Unilever is to make sure that representation within the company, not only in terms of gender, but more importantly, ethnicity, social background, and even religion is taken into consideration. Because at the end of the day, our brands need to be able to engage and talk to consumers who are a very diverse set as what we have in the country for Nigeria. If we discount the diversity of the consumer base that we are serving, we will lose out in the marketplace. So our diversity and inclusion initiative is really meant to ensure that we get proper representation of the country, most especially our consumers, in the Unilever ecosystem. I think His Majesty, our Honorable Chairman, did mention that for the past couple of years, your board has always been taking a look at the interest of all shareholders, especially the minority shareholders. That I can guarantee. And because of that, prudence has been taken in terms of declaring a lot of the issues that you mentioned a while back. In fact, I think His Majesty, our chairman, did mention that, for the past 3 years, this is the first time the director's fee is actually going to be increased. No increase was taken in 2020 and 2021. Again, to be able to protect the integrity of the P&L. I will turn you over to my colleagues in the management committee who are members of the board to answer a few questions on, I think, impairment, and as well, one or two more, which I think I wrote it down. I'll turn you over to Folake, who is our executive director, and at the same time, the CFO, the Chief Financial Officer of Unilever Nigeria. Thank you so much.
Good morning, distinguished shareholders, ladies and gentlemen. Let me start by appreciating the shareholders for your support and loyalty over the years. You're one of the main reasons why we're in business. Thank you very much. Distinguished shareholders, thank you very much. All points well taken, thank you. Let me start from the question on operating cost that has gone up. If you notice from our top line that our revenue went up 26% from 2021 to 2022. In a similar manner, we have managed the operating cost in spite of the challenges in the operating environment in 2022. Inflation was on the upward trend. Consumer price index. We witnessed the Ukraine-Russian war that impacted on the supply chain network, port congestion, insecurity, flooding, and a number of challenges that we had to deal with in 2022. But we have leveraged on the opportunities within the system to ensure that we are able to keep the operating cost minimal and to deliver a 31% improvement in profitability. May I also mention the impact of the FX pass-through on our operating cost. There was also question on impairment loss and increase in our trade receivables. Now, on the increase in our trade receivables, the bulk of that was advances paid to supplier to ensure that we can take advantage of price movement to guard against devaluation. We have put in adequate guardrails to mitigate against any risk of default. That's counterparty risk. There is also deposits for import, where for FX, so Naira in advance in exchange for FX for import. On the impairment loss, if you look at our financials on page 71, our trade and other receivables, like you rightly mentioned, madam, is 21.2 billion. If you look at our trade and other payables, it's 52 billion. Our trade and other receivables is far lower than our trade payables. Some of these trade receivables, the impairment loss you have seen there is mostly due to intercompany receivables. And by principle, we are required to take certain amount of provision. This has not been written off. It is a provision because they are overdue. In similar manner, in that trade and other payables, there are also intercompany payables. The risks are well managed. There's a question on how do we manage FX volatility. Like Carl had mentioned, that our dependence on imported raw materials are significantly reduced. We embarked on localization initiative, which is delivering great benefit to the business. We also leverage on opportunity to source locally and sometimes from FX liquid suppliers within the country. Also, we utilize import finance facility from the local commercial bank. I think the other question is on trademark and management services fee. Now, management services fee, Unilever is a truly global company. We're in over 150 countries. So we leverage on the size of the organization for support rather than duplicating those services all over the world. So these are central services that are globally provided to Unilever, and we also benefit from this service. So it's a pool of cost to deliver that services, and it is equitably distributed across all Unilever entities. For royalty, technical services fee, and trademark, most of our products that we enjoy in country are international products, and we do not own the trademark. The technical know-how and all the support that we ensures that we are able to deliver superior products to the market are supported by these entities. I must also mention, due to challenges in the country, the management services fee from 2015 to date has not been repatriated to the global Unilever entity. They are stranded here in local currency. I think I've covered all the questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Folake. Thank you. In exercise of the powers conferred on me by virtue of Section 248, subsection 1 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020, I hereby call for a poll on items number 2, 3, 5, 7, 8, and 9 on the agenda. Accordingly, voting for these resolutions should be done electronically. Each shareholder or proxy has been given a voting device, and the results will be displayed on the screen and on the live streaming of the meeting so that those who are not present physically can view them. Kindly note that each resolution at this meeting, except item number 7, requires a simple majority of the votes cast in order to be passed, being ordinary resolutions. I now invite the representatives of the Greenwich registrars to provide guidance on the electronic voting process. Greenwich Registers, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Standing on all existing protocol, I'll run us through the voting instruction. A voting device has been issued to us at the time of accreditation to all eligible shareholders. Each device has been activated and it is ready for use. A resolution will be announced and voting for the resolution will commence after the announcement. On the voting pad, 1 represents yes, 2 represents no, 3 represents abstain. Please press 1 for yes, press 2 for no, or press 3 for abstain. Voting for resolution commences and ends in 30 seconds. Voting results will be displayed immediately each voting session ends. The result will be displayed in shareholding percentage and unit holding. Please do not touch any other button apart from 1, 2, or 3. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Adeleye. Item number 2. We will now proceed to item number 2 on our agenda, which is to declare a dividend. The board has recommended a dividend of 1.44 billion naira. That is 25 kobo per share, subject to the deductions of appropriate withholding taxes and other statutory deductions in compliance with the government guidelines for the year ended 31st December 2022. May I ask a shareholder to move the following motion: that a dividend of 1,436,251,250 naira, that is 25 kobo per share, subject to the deduction of appropriate withholding taxes and other statutory deductions for the year ended 31st December 2022, out of the amount standing to the credit of the statement of comprehensive income, be paid to members on the register of members at the close of business on Thursday, 17 April 2023. Will somebody please rise and second the motion?
My name is Elijah Sarata Iyabode Balogun. I like to propose for that dividend.
Thank you. Will somebody please second the motion at the back over there? At the back over there.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The name is Lawal Wahab Olatunji. I rise to second that motion.
Thank you very much. I now invite the representatives of the Greenwich registrars to direct the electronic voting process.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We'll have the resolution on display. The timer is up. Please vote. 1 represents yes, 2 represents no, and 3 represents abstain. Please vote. The voting has ended, and we have 99.99% in favor of the resolution and 0.1% against. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Ms. Adeleye. I hereby declare the motion carried. Thank you very much. We will now proceed to item number 3 on our agenda, which is the election of directors appointed after the last annual general meeting and the re-election of directors retiring by rotation in accordance with the Articles of Association and the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020. In accordance with sections 274, subsection 1, and 275, subsection 1 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020, Mrs. Abidemi Ademola was appointed as Executive Director since the last general meeting to fill the casual vacancy created by the resignation of Mr. Felix Nwemadu to comply with the requirements of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020. Pursuant to Section 274, subsection 2 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020, may I ask a shareholder to move the following motion: that Mrs. Abidemi Ademola be and is hereby elected as a director of the company. Baba. No, Baba at the back.
I, Chief Timothy Adesina, I so move.
Thank you very much. Will someone please rise and second the motion? Let's take somebody at the... There's no lady. Oh, there's a lady there. There's a lady there. The lady.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Ifeanyi Juliana Kiruka. I second the motion.
Thank you very much. And I put the motion to the meeting for voting. And I invite the representatives of the Greenwich registrars to direct the electronic voting process.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The resolution is on display now. The timer is up. Please vote. 1 represents yes, 2 represents no, and 3 is abstain. Voting has ended, and we have 99.71% in favor and 0.29 against. This translates to 4,546,180,000 units in favor of the resolution, and we have 13,373,000 units that voted against. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Dele. I hereby declare the motion carried. Distinguished shareholders, you will have seen from the report of the directors that 3 directors are retiring by rotation at this meeting. In accordance with the Articles of Association of the company and being eligible, the retiring directors offer themselves for re-election. They are Mr. Jaime Aguilera, Madam Amuna Lawan Ali, and Mr. Chika Nwobi. You can sit down now. The first director retired by rotation is Mr. Jaime Aguilera, an executive director. May I ask a shareholder to move the following motion: that Mr. Jaime Aguilera, who retires by rotation at this annual general meeting and who, being eligible for re-election, be and is hereby re-elected as a director of the company. Will somebody please move the motion?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Pastor Olagoke Samson Olusegun. I so move.
Thank you. Will somebody rise and second the motion? At the back, with the red dress at the back. The red dress at the back. Where at the back?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Prince Engineer MOT Olaiwola Tobu. I rise to second the motion.
Thank you very much. I now put the motion to the meeting for voting. I will invite the representatives of Greenwich registrars to please direct the electronic voting process.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have the resolution on display. The timer is up. Please vote. 1 represents yes, 2 represents no, and 3 abstain. Voting has ended, and we have 59.83% in favor of the resolution. We have 4.45% against the resolution, and we have 35.72% abstained. This translates to 180 million units, 818,000 in favor, 13,446,000 units against, and 107,948,000 units abstained. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mrs. Adeleye. The results are hereby declared the motion carried. The next director retiring by rotation at this annual general meeting is Madam Amuna Lawan Ali, an independent non-executive director. May I ask a shareholder to move the following motion? That Madam Amuna Lawan Ali, who retires by rotation at this annual general meeting and who, being eligible for re-election, be and is hereby elected as a director of the company. Could I ask a director to rise and second the motion? The second.
Mr. Chairman, I'm privileged to make that motion, move that motion. And it seems as if, Mr. Chairman, you only call those you know. You don't know me. My name is Badebo.
I know all of you. I know all of you. Move the motion.
My name is Badebo Olatokunbo.
Thank you. Seconded by the gentleman there. Oh, okay, madam, we'll come to you next time, madam. The gentleman.
They said, wait.
Second the motion, give him the microphone.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Ibekwe Robert Adenoba, I stand to second that motion.
Thank you. And I put the motion to the meeting for voting. I'll invite the representatives of the Greenwich registrars to please direct the electronic voting process.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have the next resolution on display. The timer is up. Please vote. 1 represents yes, 2 represents no, 3 represents abstain. Voting has ended, and we have 99.98% in favor of the resolution and 0.2% abstain. This translates to 181,874,000 units, and we have 6,000 against and 31,000 abstained. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Adele. I hereby declare the motion carried. The final director retiring by rotation at this meeting is Mr. Chika Nwobi, the non-executive director. May I ask a shareholder to move the following motion: that Mr. Chika Nwobi, who retires by rotation at this annual general meeting and who, being eligible for re-election, be and is hereby re-elected as a director of the company. Can I call a shareholder to move the motion? The madam in front here, the madam.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Chofolahan Mary Joke. I move the motion.
Thank you. Seconded by the man with the black hat over there.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Dawodu M. Olasukomi. I support the motion.
I'll now put the motion to the meeting for voting, and I'll invite the representatives of the Greenwich registrars to please direct the electronic voting process.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The resolution is on display. The timer is up. Please vote. The timer is up. Please vote. Press 1 for yes. Press 2 for no. Press 3 for abstain. Voting has ended, and we have 97.89% in favor of the resolution, 2.11% against, and this translates to 4,544,790,000 units of ordinary shares, and we have against 98,015,000 units voted against. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Adele. I hereby declare the motion carried. The next item on the agenda, item number 4, is to disclose the remuneration of managers of Unilever PLC. In line with the provisions of Section 257 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020, the remuneration of managers of Unilever Nigeria PLC for the year ended 31st December 2022 has been disclosed on page 91, note 7 of the 2022 annual report and financial statements. The next item on the agenda, item number 5, is to authorize the directors to fix the remuneration of the independent auditors. KPMG Professional Services has acted satisfactorily as our independent auditors for the past year and is represented at this meeting by Mr. Uzodimma Wankwo, a partner, and Mr. Sopluchukwu Nnaji. KPMG Professional Services has also indicated its willingness to continue as the company's independent auditors. Please note that under Section 401, subsection 2 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020, the retiring auditors are reappointed without any resolution being passed. However, Section 408, subsection 1B of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020 requires that the auditor's remuneration shall be fixed by the company in general meeting or in a manner as the company in general meeting may determine. May I ask a shareholder to move the following motion? That the directors be and are hereby authorized to fix the remuneration and expenses of the auditors for the year ending 31st December 2022. Will someone please rise and move the motion? The chap with the long hat. The chap with the long hat. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Prince Engineer Koliowo. I move the motion. Thank you.
Seconded by, as a lady in the blue dress there.
Igwe, thank you very much, sir. My name is Alaja Ayodele Daisi. I rise to second that motion.
Thank you, Alaja. And I put the motion to the meeting for voting. I'll invite representatives of Greenwich registrars to please direct the electronic voting process.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have the resolution on display. The timer is up. Please vote. 1 represents yes, 2 represents no, and 3 abstain. The voting has ended, and we have 97.82% in favor of the resolution. We have 2.11% that voted against, and this translates to 4,541,489,000 ordinary shares in favor, and we have 97,871,000 units of ordinary shares that voted against, and we have 3,275,000 units that abstained. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Ms. Adeleye. I hereby declare the motion carried. Item number 6. We will now proceed to item number 6 on our agenda, which is the election of the shareholders' representatives on the audit committee. In accordance with sections 234 and 404, subsection 3 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020. In accordance with section 404, subsection 3 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020, our audit committee comprises of 2 representatives of the directors and 3 representatives of the shareholders. It is my pleasure to inform you that the directors have appointed their own representatives you, the shareholders, are to elect today the 3 validly nominated shareholders to represent you for the year 2023. Please note that voting shall be by show of hands in accordance with section 248, subsection 1 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020. In accordance with section 404, subsection 6, the company secretary had received valid nominations in writing 21 days before the annual general meeting from 13 shareholders, each nominating another shareholder as a member of the audit committee. The nominators and the nominees have been confirmed as shareholders of the company. Accordingly, The valid nominees now being presented to you for election are as follows. But before that, we have received 1, 2, 3, yeah, okay. The names that you are nominated, please pay attention. The nominees are as follows. Wahab Ajani, Oguntoye, David Olusegun, Kolawole Drojaye, Olasege, Olaide Shukara, Ajao Johnny Adelaku, David Benga, Olasege Batunde Hamsat, Ajayi Ajibola Olufunso, Owolabi Nuruddin Adekunle, Kujenya Olaiwola Yusuf, Harrison Felix Abiodun, Okuola Emmanuel O, Olagoke Samson Olusegun, we have received letters of withdrawal, from the following persons: Olaiwole Yusuf, Okuola Emmanuel Olanrewaju, Akoni Saheed Olatunde, Owolabi Nuruddin Adelaku, Adekunle, Owolabi Oyebola Olukemi, Harrison Felix Abiodun, Owolabi Nuruddin Adekunle, Ajao Johnny Adelaku, Ajadi Saheed Olasege Olaide Shukura, and Olawoyin Kujena. So what's next? Since only three nominees remain on the list, whilst others have withdrawn, Alhaji Wahab Ajani, Oguntoye David Olusegun, and Kolawole Drojaye have been returned unopposed. Thank you very much. Have they taken a bow? Okay. Thank you very much. The directors, I congratulate all of them, all the three of them, for being returned. It shows that they're doing a very good job for all of us. The directors have appointed their own 2 members on the audit committee to make up 5 members, being the maximum number required by Section 404, subsection 3 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020. The director representatives are Mrs. Abiola Alabi and Mrs. Chika Nwobi. I now present to you the full complements of the audit committee for the 2023 financial year, which will hold office until the next general meeting. And they are Alhaji Wahab Ajani, Oguntoye David Olusegun, and Kolawole Durojaye, and Mr. Abiola Alabi and Mr. Chika Nwobi. Thank you very much. The next item on the agenda is special business. To consider and, if thought fit, pass the following subjoined resolutions by special resolution of the company. Please be informed that, as required by the Corporate Affairs Commission guidelines, the approval of the Corporate Affairs Commission was sought and obtained to conduct special business which require ordinary and special resolutions at this general meeting. Amendment of the Memorandum and Articles of Association. 1. That Article 49 of the Memorandum and Articles of Association of the company be amended by the insertion of the following provision to replicate the current provision. The company shall, in each year, hold a general meeting at its annual general meeting in addition to any other general meeting in that year, and shall specify the meeting as such in the notices calling it, and not more than 15 months shall elapse between the date of one annual general meeting and that of the next. The annual general meeting shall be held in such manner at such a time and place as the director should appoint, including virtually or by any other electronic means. All general meetings other than annual general meetings shall be called extraordinary general meetings. 2. That Article 51 of the Memorandum and Articles of Association of the company be amended by the insertion of the following provision as first paragraph to replace the current provision. 21 days of notice specifying the place, the day, the hour of the meeting, and in case of special business, the general nature of such business shall be given to members by notice sent by post, email, publication on the company's website, or any other electronic means otherwise served as hereinafter provided. Provided that the meeting of the company shall, notwithstanding that it is called by shorter notice than that specified in these articles, be deemed to have been duly called if it is so agreed. 3. That Article 67 of the Memorandum and Articles of Association of the company be amended by the insertion of the following provision to replace the current provision with respect to the format of proxy. Unilever PLC, quote and unquote. 4. That Article 123 of the Memorandum and Articles of Association of the company be amended by the insertion of the following provision to replace the current provision. Quote, a notice which expression for the purposes of this presence shall be deemed to include and shall include any summons, notice, process, order, judgment, or any other document in relation to or in the winding up of the company may be given by the company to any member either personally or by sending it by post, by cabling to him at his registered address, by email, or by any other electronic means, provided that in the case of a member having a registered address outside Nigeria, it shall be given by airmail and by cable to him at his registered address. I wish to inform you that the board had carefully reviewed the proposed resolutions and concluded that the same are in the interest of all shareholders and Unilever PLC. I hereby move that the following subjoined resolutions be passed as special resolution of the company. 1. That the Article 49 of the Memorandum and Articles of Association of the company be amended by the insertion of the following provision to replace the current provision. Quote, the company shall in each year hold a general meeting at its annual general meeting in addition to any other general meeting in that year, and shall specify the meeting as such in the notices calling it, and not more than 15 months shall elapse between the date of one annual general meeting and that of the next. The annual general meeting shall be held in such a manner, at such a time and place as the directors shall appoint, including virtually or by any other electronic means. All general meetings other than annual general meeting shall be called extraordinary general meetings. 2. That Article 51 of the Memorandum and Articles of Association of the company be amended by the insertion of the following provision as first paragraph to replace the current provision. Quote, 21 days notice specifying the place, the date, and the hour of the meeting, and in case of special business, the general nature of such a business shall be given to the members by notice sent by post, email, publication on the company's website, or any other electronic means otherwise served as hereinafter provided. Provided that a meeting of the company shall, notwithstanding that it is called by shorter notice than that specified in these articles, be deemed to have been duly called if it is so agreed. 3. That Article 67 of the Memorandum and Articles of Association of the company be amended by the insertion of the following provision to replace the current provision with respect to the format of proxy. Quote and unquote, Unilever Nigeria PLC. 4. Article 123 of the Memorandum and Articles of Association of the company be amended by the insertion of the following provision to replace the current provision. Quote, a notice which expresses for the purposes of these presents shall be deemed to include and shall include any summons, notice, process, order, judgment, or any other document in relation to or in the winding up of the company may be given by the company to any member either personally or by sending it by post, by cabling to him at his registered address, by email, or by any other electronic means, provided that in the case of a member having a registered address outside Nigeria, it shall be given by airmail and by cable to him at his registered address. Will somebody rise and propose the motion? The person at the back over there. At the back with the green dress. No, the other guy, the other one. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Honorable Babatunde Elekede. I rise to move the motion.
Seconded by, as a lady over there. The lady.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for seeing me. My name is Pastor Ayotunde Shopeju. Second the motion.
Thank you. I'll put the motion to the meeting for voting. I'll invite the representatives of the British registrars to please direct the electronic voting.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have the resolution on display and the timer is up. Please vote yes. Vote 1 for yes. Press 2 for no. And press 3 for abstain. Voting has ended. We have 99.62% in favor. It's working. It is all working. Can I just go through it? So let us read.
We disagree with this. We disagree with this. We disagree. We are going to do that electoral. We disagree.
Please take your seats. Please take your seats. Please take your seats.
That is the figure.
Please take your seats. Please take your seats. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So we have 90.
Proceed, please. Proceed.
So we have 99.62% in favor, and we will see the holding. So this is the holding. We have 4,541,826,000 units in favor, and for the minority shareholders, you can see your votes. 17,411,000 units represent no, which you all voted against. So from the analysis, you can see your count. Your count is under no, and it is 17,411,000. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Adele. I hereby declare the motion carried. The next item on the agenda is special business, which requires ordinary resolution. Item number 8 concerns the remuneration of the directors. And I should mention at this stage that the non-executive directors have decided to divide any fees voted to them by the company in a general meeting in accordance with Article 74 of the Articles of Association of the company. Being a beneficiary myself, I now ask Mrs. Abidemi Ademola to conduct this part of the resolution. Abidemi, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This item on the agenda concerns the remuneration of the non-executive directors. The directors are recommending that their remuneration remains. The directors are recommending a slight increase in their remuneration from previous years, and that would be 79.2 million, 200,000 naira only as directors' fees. In addition, sitting allowances will be paid as standard agreed rates for each meeting attended, and the chairman will be entitled to a vehicle allowance of 15 million gross per annum in lieu of a company vehicle. The directors concerned are His Majesty Naimeka A. Achebe, Mr. Mutui Simono, Madam Amuna Lawan Ali, Mrs. Abiola Alabi, Mr. Chikan Wobi, and Mr. Michael Impoki. May I ask a shareholder to move the following motion? May I ask that a shareholder please move the following motion?
I, Boniface Okezie, rise to second the motion.
Would someone please rise and second the motion? What's your observation? Okay, let's try.
Hello, Chairman. Hello. Chairman, this board cannot increase its fees when you will not increase our own.
Hello.
We will not allow you to increase the fees.
So, thank you very much, Mr.
Hello. Don't go that way. If you want us to put it to what you don't want, we will do it for you.
Make your observation.
Hello. Just stay your way. You are only assisting the chairman. I am speaking to the chairman. I'm not talking to you. With due respect, I know how a meeting runs. You have been company secretary. You are only standing in for the chairman. I'm not addressing you. And so be patient. Chairman, the second reason why this should not happen, if these other directors have shares that we have, you are the only director that have shares. So they don't know the pain that we go through. They don't. So don't come in here and think that, oh, because you have the majority, you can rubbish everybody. Everybody, we are going to say no to the increase. No.
Thank you.
Respect. No.
It's fine. We've heard you, Mr. Awad.
Listen to me.
Hello.
Okay, we have to follow due process. Just cast your votes.
Exactly.
Listen.
Mr. Chairman, distinguished shareholders, listen, we have spoken to the chairman this morning and we have made known to them, and I believe this soliciting board will have complained on dividend. Listen, please. declaration of dividend is a prerogative of the board. And we have spoken to them. The chairman is a respected, a highly reverend traditional ruler. So the dividend cannot be increased on the floor of AGM. They are going back. Come next year, amendment will be made. This is a resolution. If the board want to work for you and they want to increasement, we need to approve what they have sought for.
Mr.
Chairman, I move that motion. And somebody second.
Thank you very much, Mr. Okese. Thank you very much, Mr. Okese. We will now continue. Will somebody please rise and second the motion? Okay, I help I move the motion and Mr. Okese has seconded it.
Take your seats. Take your seats. Please take your seats.
All right, Miss. Hello. We would like to continue with the proceedings of the AGM.
Mr. Chairman. So we'll have the resolution on display.
All right.
Yeah.
So I will invite the representative of Greenwich registrars to please direct the electronic voting process.
On display. The timer
please go ahead.
The timer is up. Please vote. The timer is up. There's a countdown. The timer is up. Please vote. Thank you. Voting has ended. We have 99.7% in favor and 3.3% against. This translates to 4,538,000.
Your organization is at stake.
There is a vote to show all your cards. Thank you very much to our registrars.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Debola.
I hereby declare the motion carried.
Ladies and gentlemen.
I will now hand over to the chairman to continue with the proceedings.
Thank you, Mr. Demola. Ladies and gentlemen, the next item on the agenda is special business. To consider and if thought fit, pass the following as an ordinary resolution of the company. That pursuant to the rule number 20.8 of the rule book of the Nigerian Stock Exchange 2015, issuers rule, a general mandate be and is hereby given authorizing the company during the 2023 financial year and up to the date of the next annual general meeting to procure goods, services, financing, and enter into such incidental transactions necessary for its day-to-day operations from its related parties or interested persons on normal commercial terms consistent with the company's transfer pricing policy. All transactions falling under this category which were earlier entered into in 2022 prior to this date of this meeting are hereby ratified. I wish to draw your attention to pages 124 and 128
of the 2022 annual report and financial statement, which provides more information in respect of the related parties transaction contemplated. It's important to also know that this resolution is required to authorize the company to enter into recurrent transactions necessary for its day-to-day operations, such as the purchase, sale of supplies and materials and procurement of goods and services with its related parties, that is, Unilever Holding BV, Unilever PLC United Kingdom, and other entities within the Unilever Group, up to transactions of a value equal to or more than 5% of Unilever Nigeria PLC's net tangible assets. Please note that, as usual, the actual transactions will be disclosed in the annual reports and financial statements for the current year. I hereby move that the following be passed as an ordinary resolution of the company, that pursuant to rule number 20.8 of the rule book of the Nigerian Exchange 2015 issuers rule, a general mandate be and is hereby given, authorizing the company during the 2023 financial year and up to the date of the next annual general meeting to procure goods, services and financing and enter into such incidental transactions necessary for its day-to-day operations from its related parties or interested persons on normal commercial terms consistent with the company's transfer pricing policy. All transactions falling under this category, which were earlier entered into in 2022 prior to the date of this meeting, are hereby ratified. Will somebody rise and second the motion? Bishop Bakare.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Mrs. Bakare Adebisi Oluwayemisi. I so move.
You second the motion?
I second the motion.
Thank you very much. I now put the motion to the meeting for voting. I'll invite representatives of the Greenwich registrars to please direct the electronic voting process. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So we have the resolution on display and the timer is up. Please vote. 1 represents yes, 2 no, and 3 abstain. Please vote. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So we have 61.1% in favor of the resolution and 30.73% against and 8.15% abstained. This translates to 176,724,000 units of ordinary shares in favor of the resolution, while we had 88,879,000 units ordinary shares against this resolution and 23,578,000 units abstained from the resolution. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Adele. I declare the motion carried. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we've now completed the formal business of the annual general meeting, and I'd like to thank you all on behalf of the board and management for demonstrating your continued interest in and support of the company's affairs by attending this meeting. Before our departure, some of you will be invited to join the board and management to cut the centenary cake. Before that, please listen. Please listen. Please listen to me. First of all, members should please be seated. Food packs will be distributed by hostesses. They will give them to everyone. There's enough pack for everyone, so please sit down and be disciplined. Secondly, members will exit the hall from the rear entrance to the right. Please follow the instruction of the ushers at the back for orderly exit so that we don't have a stampede. I will now invite Mrs. Zainab Ajadi and Mr. Godfrey Adejumo to coordinate the cutting of the cake. Thank you all for coming, and I wish you a safe journey back to your various destinations. I now declare the meeting closed. Thank you.
Good afternoon, shareholders, board members, and fellow colleagues. We're going to engage the cutting of the cake at this time. So I will invite the board members to please step down to the corner where we have the cake at top.
Please sit down and the packs will come to you. There's more than enough for everybody. Go ahead, Mr. Ajadi.
So I would like to invite the board members. Mr. Chairman, good afternoon. So for the cutting of the cake, I would like to invite the board members to please step down.
Ladies and gentlemen, tell her. The collected all the ladies and gentlemen, please listen. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been on this board for many years, and I've been the chairman also for many years, and I'm sure that you will confirm and agree. And it's been mentioned by many of the speakers that this is a listening board and a board that takes a lot into consideration before they bring it to the directors. One of the resolutions on directors' remuneration has raised some uproar. So we want to repeat that resolution on directors' remuneration. So we're going to redistribute the voting devices. Please, we're redistributing the voting devices so we can vote on that resolution one more time. I want to repeat the vote. No. What? Wait now. Well,
seconded now. It went to voted normally now.
She qualified to move.
Yes, now. Because yes.
Go and talk to her.
Someone was asking me whether you are right to move the vote. I said, of course, we are presiding on behalf of the House because they cannot decide. It's consign him in. Boom, 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 boom. No. You move the, you can move the motion. I seconded and we voted next time.
Let me say Monica says please, may we rise for the national anthem? National anthem, please.